disease or ulcerative colitis, all of this is going to impair the absorption of fat. So for all of these reasons, many people do not absorb fatty nutrients. And that includes the phytonutrients that I just talked about. When you don't absorb fatty nutrients, your cell membranes can't be made correctly. If your cell membranes can't be made correctly, they cannot interpret the environment correctly, and they will not get the signals that we just talked about to stop growing. And that's one of the reasons why you get tumors and you get cysts and you get fibroids and you get various growths in the body.
It's like a cake without flour, cake without eggs, but way more complicated actually. But you just end up with a product that isn't what it's supposed to be. The cell's
exactly.
The cell's a machine of itself, right? That's every cell in our body is like an organism itself. It's got all its own organs and everything.
Yeah.
And it's this membrane, this membrane that is made of fats, made of cholesterol and other fatty nutrients primarily. It is semi-permeable, so it lets some things in and not other things. And it's intelligent. It waits for signaling molecules such as insulin and neurotransmitters and all this stuff, waits for these signals to let certain things in it and allow certain things to happen. And so if this computer machine thing is not working properly, I mean, you're not getting oxygen in and out of the cell properly. You're not getting nutrients in and out of the cell properly. You're not getting sugar in and out of the cell properly, waste in and out of the cell properly. Nothing's happening properly, right? This whole wet machine that we've got can grind to a halt if the cells themselves are not working.
Well, what you said is so amazingly important. Check this out. We talk about cells. Everybody's heard the word cell, right? In biology in high school, they draw a circle on the blackboard, put a couple things inside, they tell you that's a cell. So we have this idea that a cell is like a little circle with stuff in it. That's not what a cell is. A cell is a little blob. It's a three-dimensional blob that's microscopic. It's so small that if I put it in front of you, you couldn't see it. But within that cell, there are literally millions and millions and millions of working parts. And all of those working parts are constantly being disassembled and reassembled spontaneously on its own. How can this possibly happen, Ryan?
Without us thinking about it, no effort from us.
It's beyond belief that this little entity that is 1/100th the size of a head of a pin can have millions and millions of working parts within it, each of which is critically important to the health and the functioning of that cell. And we don't even have to think about it.
It's like an ant colony, termite colony, million units all working together simultaneously as if they're one superorganism, but that's in every single one of our cells. And then they all work together. They work together with other systems, other cells.
Each cell is like that, but you have 100 trillion cells. Mm-hmm. What does that even mean, 100 trillion? It doesn't even, if you had 100 trillion jelly beans in a jar, that wouldn't even, you couldn't even compute what 100 trillion is by looking at it. But we have that many cells, and within each cell itself is a universe on its own. And so the complexity of this stuff is staggering. It's mind-blowing, but we don't have to worry about any of that, except we can be awed by it, and we can have great respect and reverence for it. We don't have to worry about it because it does it spontaneously. All we have to do is make sure we're getting the mighty 90 essential nutrients. Essential meaning getting them every day. All we have to do is make sure we're oxygenating. That means breathing and moving. And all we have to do is keep the system clean by mostly not eating the crappy foods that we eat. Although these days, now they have us injecting things into our blood, which further mucks up the system. And this is, if you understand everything we just talked about here, how important the cleanliness of the bodily environment is for the health and the functioning of the cell, you can see why it is so stupid to inject things into your skin or into your blood through your skin, or even if it's going right into your muscles through your skin. And any healthcare professional that recommends an injection into the skin is just into the muscle or into the blood in order to prevent an infection or some kind of viral entity from entering into your body or from causing a problem, is a healthcare professional that doesn't understand how the body works. And unfortunately, we have a lot of them.
Because your body's the filter, right? If you put things in the mouth, at least it has to go through the digestion system. Yes. Hopefully your digestion system works before something makes it into the blood. You're not supposed to get whole proteins like food carriers that are used in these needles, which, by the way, Ben, we are allowed to speak here. Ben and I have had talks taken down from YouTube, proteins into the blood. any whole proteins. And this means
Or
any
genetic
pharmaceutical
material.
needle, because all of them have food proteins in them, like egg proteins or peanut oil, right? You wonder why so many people are allergic to these things. And there's a great book called The Peanut Allergy Epidemic by Heather Fraser that makes a strong case that a lot of these food allergies are being caused by humans being injected with these proteins under other auspices.
Yes.
You know, like they're saying, oh, this is a flu shot or something like that. This is a mandatory vaccine for your child or something. They're not telling you that it's got like egg protein or peanut oil in it. Definitely, they're probably not talking about formaldehyde or formalin, which is a chemical. You would know this, Ben. Of course, I've worked with formalin, by the way, in a lab setting where we had to have tissues preserved. We had to preserve tissues like jellyfish and microbes. Actually, we're looking at. And you have to work under a fume hood with gear on. So I've got protective gear on myself. This is just for the fumes of it, not for injecting this stuff into my body in a needle directly into the bloodstream. Right. I have to work under a fume hood and wear gear and be very careful and follow a whole bunch of procedures and protocols for dealing with this stuff while this jar is open and stuff. You know, I have to log this stuff. Like, this is serious working with this stuff. Injecting it into you, mercury. You know, it's not a conspiracy theory that mercury is a common ingredient in many of these different things. And your healthcare or whoever, or the person doing it at the grocery store that we were seeing in 2020 and stuff, or 2021, you know, they're giving them out in grocery stores. These are not even trained professionals, so they can't even give you the required information for you to make an informed choice. And sorry, I kind of butted in there hard, but